Welcome into South Florida Daily. I'm Kate Monahan. Today on the show, we have some pretty unique things to show you to see and do in South Florida. So let's get into it. If you love cars, listen up. We head behind the scenes of a local car show in the Palm Beaches. South Florida is home to many car shows throughout the year. Jacqueline Journey takes us to one inspired by cars from the UK. And later, we love health and wellness. Frank Licari unwinds with some relaxing salt therapy. South Florida is a fisherman's paradise. Bert Wolf takes us out on the water to show us how it's done. South Florida Daily is on the move with Palm Tran.
He was an old man who fished alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream, and he had gone 84 days now without taking a fish.
Those are the opening lines of The Old Man and the Sea, book by Ernest Hemingway. Hemingway was fascinated by the size, the speed, and the energy of the great fish that swam in the Gulf Stream that runs along the coast of Florida. The swordfish, the marlin, the sailfish, the mako, the great white. Hemingway was also fascinated by a Bahamian legend of a giant sea monster that swam along the Gulf Stream, but it was only available for viewing on nights of the full moon. Big game fishing was the perfect sport for Hemingway. However, catching the fish was one thing, getting them on board his boat before they were eaten by the sharks was another. Many of Hemingway's greatest catches ended up as lunch for the sharks. For Hemingway, sharks were the enemy. He kept a machine gun on board and would fire it at the sharks. He was one of the first to put his boat into full reverse in order to get his catch out of the ocean as fast as possible. But Hemingway was just one of the many famous people who were interested in deep-sea fishing. To the best of my knowledge, the Lone Ranger was not into sport fishing. And as far as I know, Sergeant Preston of the Yukon was also not into sport fishing. But the creator of both those characters, Zane Grey, was a devoted sports fisherman. Zane Grey was an American author, best known for his novels and short stories about the West. He was also a dentist, but I think we should deal with that in a different program. The earnings from his books and their adaptation to films gave Grey the money to spend his time pursuing his greatest interest, which was big game fishing. His son Loren claimed that Zane spent an average of 300 days a year on fishing boats. A favorite location was the Palm Beaches of Florida. In the interest of full disclosure, I should point out that I am okay at fishing, but rather poor at catching. As a result, most of my nautical life has been spent on sailboats. I started out at the age of 6 with a 7-foot Optimist, and except for a brief interlude on, or should I say in, the USS Philadelphia, a fast-attack nuclear sub, I continued with sailboats. Over the years, I've become friendly with a number of people who are devoted to fishing, and those that were devoted to deep-sea sports fishing gave me a real appreciation for that sport, and particularly the boats that are designed for that sport. For most of the authorities on the subject, including my trusted Wikipedia, the people primarily responsible for the great advances in sport fishing boat design were members of the Rybovich family. I had heard about them, but never met them. But what I heard sounded interesting, and the more I heard about them, the more I began to think about the family I grew up in. Here was an opportunity to learn about deep-sea sports fishing, to discover the techniques that were used to make these incredible boats, and to spend time with a family that made the family I grew up with look considerably less dysfunctional. Unbeatable. So here I am in the ocean, off the coast of the Palm Beaches.
This boat's 1967, 54 feet long, built by the Rybovich family. It's a real classic. It's like going fishing on a fine piece of furniture. Right now we're about 4 or 5 miles out. and we are live netting with a bonita.
Well, there's different techniques to fishing offshore. Trolling is a technique where you can pick up a lot of different pelagic species like sailfish and wahoo, and perhaps out here maybe the white or blue marlin.
All right! Nice one.
Hey, good going. We got that bonita that we just caught. We got it out alive, trying to catch blue marlin.
A significant reason for the development of big game fishing in the Palm Beaches is their geographical relationship to the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is a warm current that starts in the Gulf of Mexico, runs north along the east coast of the United States, and just off the coast of Newfoundland turns east and heads for Europe. The waters of the Gulf Stream are considerably warmer than the waters around them, and that attracts the big fish. Also, the stream runs so close to the Florida coast that it's an easy trip for the sport fishing boats.
Fish on. I got him. All right. Oh, he's jumping. It's a big one.
A major breakthrough in the development of the sport was the introduction of boats that were specifically designed and built for big game fishing.
It's time now to head to a unique car show, and Jacqueline Journey takes us behind the scenes.
Great weather, fabulous music, and an exceptional event. You must be in the Palm Beaches. I'm Jacqueline Journey. We are here at Wheels Across the Pond.
Passport to the Palm Beaches.
The Palm Beaches are great. Everything is great around here. I love it. I moved from Chicago for this, and I don't regret it at all.
Close our minds.
It's another gorgeous day in the Palm Beaches. I'm your host, Jacqueline Journey, for Passport to the Palm Beaches, here with Sydney Vallon. So exciting to see you again. This is a really cool event, Wheels Across the Pond, exclusively British and European automobiles and motorcycles, and you are now one of the owners.
Correct.
This is incredible. So tell us a little bit about the event.
So basically last year when I sat down with Neil Archer, we were talking about the event and the future and the growth of the event. So I came in as a 50% owner for the event. So this year, this is my first time as an owner of Wheels Across the Pond. Next year, basically we're passing the torch and I'll be taking over the entire event. So this is gonna be exciting. Neil has been doing this since 2007 and he said it's time now to really move on. And so he knows that I'm involved and I'm the founder of the Palm Beach Concours. He saw what we're doing and here was just a great crowd. Usually we have about 250 to about 300 cars. So I called everybody and I was like, okay, let's just do it. I'm gonna be involved now, this is exciting. And we have over 500 cars here on the field today. So the weather is beautiful. So this is really amazing. And we had for the first time, the Easter Bunny. So about 40 kids, this was amazing. And you should see the smile on the children. So we did 1 to 5 and 5 to 9. We had the golden eggs in some areas that have money in there. So kids were like, what? But this is amazing. I mean, look at the cars here. We have 50 classes. I mean, that's a lot of classes, 50 classes. All the way around the field, we have obviously the Jaguars. Some of them are pre-1960, post-1960, the moderns. We have Porsche 911s. We have also the early classic Porsche. We have over there the Rolls-Royce. One of my favorite ones is the 1925 Rolls-Royce Piccadilly. Owner is Guy Lewis. So amazing, he supports all the event. He came all the way from Miami to bring the car. This is amazing. We have the Rolls-Royce Owners Club over there set up. You can see the tent over there. We have an amazing Ferrari that I did not expect actually, that is over there, which is cool, with the European class. We have the BMW class, the VW here, Metropolitan over there. On the other side, which is very big for the show, is all the Triumphs. Different years, different models. We have the MG, MGBs, MGTC. We have the Morgans as well. So there's a lot going on over there. And right behind here, we have all the Land Rovers. Normally we have about 4 or 5. I think today we have about 16 or 18 Land Rovers or Defenders, whatever. We have them all here for the first time. We set them up at the hill. It's really cool. It's amazing.
It really is, and it's so great for the entire family. Tons of kids love to come, especially for the Easter egg hunt, also to check out the cars, and people are bringing their dogs.
Yes.
It's really a wonderful family event.
Yes, it is.
For more on these stories you're seeing throughout the show, visit our website, southfldaily.com, and keep up with us in real time on Facebook and Instagram at SouthFLDaily. The South Florida Daily set is sponsored by El Dorado Furniture. Welcome back into South Florida Daily. Here at South Florida Daily, we love health and wellness, and Frank Licari takes us on his salt therapy journey. Here's On the Town. South Florida Daily is on the move with Palm Tran.
Now we're exploring a modern take on an ancient tradition known as halotherapy.
I'm about to head into my cave. No, it's not a man cave, it's a salt cave. And it's all in the name of wellness. So let's all relax and breathe.
It was a hand-thrown process to get this to stick, and then through the years, you know, this is all built up.
Look at that.
Of, you know, the salt, and if you touch
crazy.
it, it's, you know, it's like baby powder.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh
what's
my
actually
goodness.
being ground and blown from that machine into the room.
And that's what I'm breathing.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh,
Feet up,
goodness.
you can relax, and you might want some hot stones.
Hot stones.
These are hot Himalayan
do I
massage
do?
stones. We recreated the microclimate of a salt cave by blowing the salt into the room and then keeping the room at a certain humidity and temperature. You'll notice it's always like 70 to 73 degrees in here. That keeps the salt moving and flowing.
Gotcha.
And the humidity must be low.
How did you get into this?
I love the ocean, so
There you go.
you know, big salt fan already. I opened the business in 2010. I was diagnosed with MS.
Okay.
And that got me into this, you know, anti-inflammatory and what can I do for my health? And I was working a corporate job, you know, pretty stressed, driving around, etc. I said, there's got to be a better way. I started, you know, researching and changing my diet, adding in, you know, different therapies.
You're a pioneer.
Yeah, my husband went, you're opening a what? And I said, oh, a salt room.
Sit here and relax. And how long does a session last in here?
So it's 45 minutes long. 45 minutes will fly by because you get super relaxed. Some people fall asleep and then they're like, what, it's over already?
Right. Would you say that most people come in here with the diagnosis of stress?
That's the number one thing that everyone has, that everyone checks off. And they just need like to get out, you know, this is like a little oasis in the salt where they can sit, relax, not be bothered by anything. I mean, I'm passionate about the business, you know, for the obvious reason I started the business.
You're serious about salt. Oh,
Okay.
oh, it reclines.
Yes, exactly. The
Oh
chair
my goodness.
reclines.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, wow. Oh, this is great. Can everybody please leave now?
Trump National Doral will welcome golf's biggest stars this weekend for Live Golf Miami. I spoke with tournament director Tom Clark about what you can expect at this fan-friendly, high-energy tournament experience. Tom, tell me about the tournament coming up here and the Blue Monster course that we're standing on.
Well, first of all, Live Golf Miami and all of Live Golf, this is the third year they've been in business, and it has taken golf by storm. I think the biggest thing is that with a shotgun start, it shortens up the day. They all tee off at the same time. There's 18 or 19 groups that'll tee off. Be done in about 4.5 hours. So it's a condensed day for the fans. We have a huge fan zone. It's very, very much a family-oriented event. So there's a lot of kids, a lot of families, a lot of young folks coming out. There's a concert with Akon on Saturday night. And the skydivers come in every day just before we tee off. They'll come out of the sky about 1 o'clock. We have a 1:15 shotgun, and that's when the fun starts.
Tell me about what makes the Blue Monster course so unique here at Trump Doral.
Well, there's not many courses like this. This golf course has held professional events for over 55 years here. The greatest golfers of all time have played here, competed here, and this is to showcase the best players in the world.
Operations Director Ryan Hirschberger tells us why you won't want to miss the star-studded tournament and family fun.
Not only for the avid golfer, but for the novice person who hasn't been introduced to golf before, this is a great way for them to be introduced to golf and hopefully learn to love it. You never know what you're going to see here. You get to walk right next to a professional golfer. You might see some celebrities out here. And if you have a family with kids, make sure you stick around to when they're around, and you might get an autograph for your son or daughter. And definitely they'll remember that for the rest of their lives.
For more information and to buy tickets, visit livegolf.com. Stop what you're doing and follow us on social at SouthFL Daily on Facebook and Instagram. And for more on these stories, visit our website, southfldaily.com.
Visit us online and at all Eldorado Furniture showrooms.
Welcome back into South Florida Daily. It's time now to head to a car show where the cars are works of art. Here's Kat Redner with Drive the Palm Beaches.
I'm Jeff Fisher, and you're watching Drive the Palm Beaches.
We're here in West Palm Beach at the Ann Norton Sculpture Garden, and this is Sculptures in Motion. So I'm here with Jeff at the 3rd annual Sculptures in Motion at the Ann Norton Sculpture Gardens. Can you tell me a little bit about this event?
Sure. Well, we're out here trying to kind of expose the sculpture garden and its really beautiful sculptures done by Ann Norton after World War II, and beautiful gardens. Marry that with the rolling art that's here, the sculptural cars, and really have a great, unique venue to be able to show off the cars, show off the garden, and have some fun at the same time. The garden is pretty unique because it's 2.5 acres in this urban setting right here in West Palm Beach with all the development that's going on around it. This will never get touched, and it has, I think, the largest collection of rare cycad palms and other species that, you know, that are pretty interesting to view. There's cars in the garden, there's a food truck in the garden, and there's opportunities for children here at this event. The garden does a lot educationally for kids in the community. And so there's a STEAM program going on here today in the garden, together with a couple cars that kids can actually jump in, take their pictures and all that kind of stuff, so it's fun. This field is divided into pre-war cars and post-war cars, primarily sports cars. So it's, you know, pretty significant to have the kind of car collectors you've got clustered right here in Palm Beach and Palm Beach County. So you're able to get really unique cars, really beautiful cars, as you can see here. But the uniqueness of the cars too is pretty special. A lot of these are one-off cars, the only one in the world. This is the only Alfa Romeo from, you know, that was ever bodied by a coach builder called Fagoni in Italy. This is only, there's a Delahaye down here, the only one of its kind. So you've got a Bugatti. To see a Type 57 Bugatti, this is a very special Type 51 Grand Prix racing, the real deal Bugatti. So you've got some great pre-war cars. Post-war cars are incredible. The sports cars also are not only run-of-the-mill, but one-off cars. The Bill Frick Cadillac is a Vignali-bodied, coach-built Italian body on a Cadillac, believe it or not. So it's got a Cadillac engine and a Cadillac chassis. The Mercedes is a 300 SL Roadster. It was the first one ever brought into the country. Pretty special car and has a lot of unique features because it was before the main production run of 300 SLs by Mercedes. So great stuff here. And for the kids, we brought a Myers-Manx dune buggy, which is the real original 1970 dune buggy. It's in the woods, and we'd welcome anybody to come and, you know, jump in it and have their picture taken or otherwise. So, you know, with the location here at the Ann Norton Sculpture Garden, as I said, sitting in the middle of West Palm Beach, you've got some pretty amazing list of collectors that only a place like Palm Beach County would attract. So that really helps us attract this caliber car cars that really, usually don't come out other than in a private museum setting or at a concours like the Pebble Beach Concours in August. So you've got those kind of folks, and we're lucky enough to have them interested in the gardens, living here in Palm Beach, and participating as exhibitors in the event also. This is a 1930, really delivered in 1939, Delahaye. Delahaye was a mark, a French mark, and they had racing chassis and engines. This is a Type 135 MS, which is the competition coach, but was delivered by the owner who bought the car to be bodied custom by a shop called Fagoni and Falaschi, which is in the car world, a pretty famous French coach builder that existed back in the day, obviously doesn't exist anymore. And he, it was like getting a custom-made suit. He told him what he wanted. He wanted a 2-seat roadster. He wanted elegance, but he wanted to be able to go fast at the same time. And so they built this car for him, and he owned this car, for a number of years after that.
It's a beautiful car.
When you look at these cars and you look at the beauty of the coach work and the body, that obviously is what attracts you first. But even back in the day, most of these cars, particularly the Italian and French cars, there was always a view towards the aesthetics of what was under the hood. And so you could see with the 3 carburetors on this Delahaye motor, and the use of the chrome and the finishes that existed are all what they were back in the day, because when the car was restored, we made sure that everything, and whether it was brass or CAD or other plated materials, you could see that the original manufacturer had an eye towards that too.
I'm Donald Osborne, and stay tuned for more Drive the Palm Beaches.
Thanks for watching us here on South Florida Daily. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and get out there and explore South Florida. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon on Fox 29 for another great episode. Have a great rest of your day.